everybody. Yeah, that's right. All-Star break over. Wrap up activated. Dan Myers, Nick Buckler with you for a 65th consecutive week. And that's right, we just got a contract extension. We'll see you for the rest of time. Dan, the Tigers are a team we may not be seeing for the rest of time. And, you know, now coming down the stretch after the All-Star break, they take 2 out of 3 against the Royals, which any team in the division is a team you have to beat. But now it comes down to if they get into this race, now just 6.5 games out, you have to decide, are you a seller or a buyer at the trade deadline, or do you stand pat? I mean, to me, right now, I don't get rid of anyone in the farm for anyone. If you can get a steal with some draft picks or a utility kind of player, go ahead. But to me, this team is not a contender to go deep. Their pitching is just battered. Their offense will come around. They'll get J.D. Martinez back. Hopefully Upton and guys like that can perk up their numbers a little bit, James McCann. But I'd stand pat or sell if you continue to lose games. I don't know if that's me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have to agree. They're a fringe team right now. I think it's sort of on the border. And depending on where you want to go, as far as whether you want to buy or sell, really you got to look what's out there. What can we gain from picking up maybe a big name, a marquee name, and you really can't. There's not much out there that I can think of. And unfortunately, I think you're going to have to just play it by ear right now. I agree with you 100%. I think 90% of Detroit agrees that should, you know, a miracle happen and they go to the postseason, how far are you going to go?
Exactly, and I mean, they might not get past the wild card, or if they do happen to win the Central, which to me is the only way they get in the playoffs, I think the Indians are not the team that everyone thinks they are. Obviously, their starting pitching has exceeded all expectations. They got 5 bona fide starters. But I mean, they're still doing all this without their best hitter, Michael Brantley. He's still on the shelf. But I just think these guys are eventually, they got to fall off, right? I mean, Lindor's been incredible. Santana's picked up his numbers. You obviously have Jason Kipnis. I mean, for God's sake, you have Ryan Rayburn. I mean, what? And he's hitting the ball around pretty well. So, I mean, it's to the point where they got to fall off. And you got to think, JD's coming back. He's going to knock some out of the yard. Cabby's got to heat up. In his last 11 games, he's hitting .237, 0 home runs, 2 RBIs, 10 strikeouts, and 7 walks. He's not what he's been, and to me, that's unacceptable. Obviously, he's human. He showed that of late. He's got to get his numbers back up to 310, 320, and start hitting the ball out of the yard. Victor's fizzled a little bit down to just 300, which I'll still take. Castellanos has continued to hit well. Kinsler has been our most consistent force. And then obviously Sunday you get the walk-off home run from Jared Saltalamacchia, your backup catcher, on a ball that I think still might be flying. He hit that 3 rows from the top just below the Pepsi porch against Joakim Soria. So that's good. The Tigers pick up a win on Friday, 4-2, bases loaded in the 8th against, Joakim Soria. Victor hits an infield 2-run single. And then Sunday again against Soria in the 9th this time. Michael Fulmer, what was kind of put in the shadows of the home run from Saltalamacchia, was Michael Fulmer going 8 innings on 6 hits, just allowing 2 runs, and had 5 strikeouts. But this was his worst outing since April the 22nd, and he only gave up 2 runs. This guy has been rock solid all year, and I don't think he's getting nationwide or league-wide recognition for this, and to me, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like we could go out there and maybe grab somebody, but we have talent on this team. It's just it's not showing up, you know. And I feel like there's like a problem with the nucleus. Like you really got to look deep and to figure out what's going on because, you know, like I just said, there's talent, and is it leadership? Are they not stepping up? And then if that's the case, who is the leader of this team?
We got to find the right leadership. I know Shelby Township has some real good leadership under certain people's leadership, that is. But to me, there's no leader on the Tigers.
No.
Maybe they should come here. Shelby Township, a great place to work, live, and play. Tigers should be playing here, or at least trying to find someone that can lead this team like some can lead Shelby Township. To me, it's not the starting pitching. You can say Verlander's this leader. You can say maybe Zimmerman came over, he's a leader. Sorry, he's hurt. Bye. See ya.
They're poster boys. They're not leaders. They're just the face of it. That doesn't necessarily mean
they're
you're
choir boys.
There you go.
That's how they performed.
Yeah. That's
Saturday was the game of the series they lost, and did they ever? That game was snooze fest from beginning to end. Mike Pelfrey didn't even survive the second inning. He goes 1 2/3, gives up 5 runs. It was bad. 4 runs in the first, 31 pitches. And by the time the second inning ended, it's an hour and 45 minutes into the game. Smell you later, folks. I would have cleared out and been at the New Amsterdam bar drinking the Sorrows for the whole team away. I mean, obviously the Sorrows, that is the Dasani water, great natural purified water provided by the Pepsi company at Comerica Park. Dasani, I know you got me. Just take that check in the mail. Pelfrey was a joke, and he admitted so. And the thing I like about Mike Pelfrey is when he is bad, he will come out and say it. Verlander, I'm real close. I'm real close. Pelfrey, I was horrible tonight. There was nothing I could do right, and this was 100% my fault. Good. Someone can own up to their problems. Verlander, no. I'm close. You know, we didn't play good as a team. No, you were bad, and own it. Pelfrey, props to you. I'll give you another start. He had 3 great starts before the All-Star break. This was a bad one. Obviously, he's nothing more than a 5th starter at this point in his career or for this team. But, I mean, who else do you have in our rotation? Right now you have Matt Boyd and Anibal Sanchez also in the rotation on top of Mike Pelfrey, and then you have Verlander and Fulmer. This rotation is depleted. You were counting on Anibal Sanchez to be probably the number 2 or 3 guy in this rotation. You weren't even counting on Mike Fulmer being in the rotation. At the beginning of the year, you had Zimmerman, Verlander, I think Norris was the 5th. Mm-hmm. No, they had Shane Green, correct me.
Yeah.
Anibal Sanchez. This is, and Mike Pelfrey, obviously, but now Pelfrey's your 3rd best starter, and he's been bad. No short of bad. And, I mean, props to him for owning it, like I said, but these guys got to get healthy. Daniel Norris, who knows what's going to happen with his oblique. The guy has not been able to stay healthy since he's been here. I root for the guy. His first career at bat, he hits a home run at Wrigley off Jake Arrieta, the best pitcher in the game, and then gets the win that day as well. That was the last time Arrieta lost a game until this June. So he went a whole year. And the Tigers and Daniel Norris were the one to beat him. Obviously, we got to hope Zimmerman, he has some neck stiffness, can come back and be effective like he was during April and the beginning of May. Obviously, fizzled out and was pretty bad going down the stretch. You need Zimmerman, you need Fulmer, and obviously they got to monitor his innings. He's a rookie. This guy can't throw you 200 innings at the age of 22. Would I like him to be able to? Am I saying this is a soft time for baseball? Maybe. But, I mean, this guy's a prized possession. I would at least skip him a couple times. I'm not going to ever say shut him down like the Nationals did with Steven Strasburg. That's the worst thing you can do, is shutting someone down. But maybe skip him here, skip him there, give him an extra couple days rest. Because you're going to need him down that stretch. I'm telling you right now. And you're going to need the bats to perk up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's unfortunate. You look at what they're getting paid as compared to the performance they're putting on the field, and the lower amount is actually showing up and delivering. And I love what you said about Verlander never really accepting the fact that he had a bad game. I mean, there's been times where the hitting's blown it for him, but you do have to take that and not push it off on somebody else. I mean, when you're on the mound, yes, for that day you are the leader, and you have to admit that. And I think that shows a lot of responsibility, and lack thereof if he's not. And I think that's important. And I feel like this leadership that we have technically right now isn't in a great place. If you can't take take advantage, or not take advantage, but admit that, yes, we didn't have a good game. This is horrible. Rather than passing off like, I'm away recovery, or this is bothering me, or that. And it's unfortunate that we're not getting that. And I think that would really make a change in the clubhouse.
I think it would definitely be a step in the right direction. But a thing I wanted to bring up too real quick was players who are out there that maybe the Tigers could be interested in if they are going to be buyers. Andrew Miller's been a name that's come up from the Yankees. He's their 8th inning guy. Obviously, Tiger fans may remember him. He was a starting pitcher that the Tigers drafted back in 2005, and he was a big lefty, and now he's made a great living as a setup man, a late innings guy with Baltimore and now in New York. He made the All-Star team, but the Yankees are probably going to be selling probably their last 3 guys in their rotation, Betances, Miller, and obviously the flame-throwing Aroldis Chapman. But, I mean, that's a great 7, 8, 9, but I don't know if the Tigers need late guys like that. I mean, obviously Mark Lowe's just awful. He hasn't even pitched in a game that mattered since April. Brandon has been great since returning. K-Rod has been no short of excellent. And then Shane Green's been good in the 7th. And Justin Wilson's been okay. Those guys are very serviceable to get the job done. Wilson, maybe not so much, but I'd ride Rondon. I would ride K-Rod, and I would ride Shane Green. They've proven to be able to do it, at least of late. I would not sell the farm for someone like Andrew Miller, who's good for 1 inning. The name Jimenez comes up, the guy that they have down in AA, the closer, who has been virtually unhittable. In A-ball, he did not allow a run for 2 months. 0. ZRA, 0.00. So they promote him to AA Erie, where he has allowed 1 run in 3 games of 34 appearances. His ERA is 1.27. They're not wanting to call him up. At least promote the kid to AAA. See what you got. His name gets thrown out as a possible trade. I'd say let this kid show him what you got. Ausmus denies that, says it's a bad idea for his growth. You're right. Put Mark Lowe out there. He'll be great. Let the kid who's thriving down there. Oh, his confidence might get hurt. Brad, I don't know if you've seen the Tigers' record, but it's not good enough, and it's not very good. Against good teams, they're under 500. Against Cleveland, they've won 1 game. Did you know that, Dan?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
They are abysmal against good teams. Hey, then they win 6 in a row twice in 1 month. That's delicious. That's great. But who'd they play? Right. The Marlins. Smell you later. The Mariners. Ha! The Rays, a team that blew an 8-run lead in the 9th inning. That's bad baseball.
Yeah.
You can say the Tigers earned that win. No, the Rays lost the game. They earned that loss. And to me, I would not give up something that you have good for you to get a question mark, and who knows if he's going to be here next year and how many years are left on his contract, and another overpriced arm that the Tigers love to spend. Look at all these arms that they have, these pride possessions. Look at Mike Pelfrey making all his money to be a question mark. Look at this 8th inning guy we got this year, Mark Lowe. Where's he? Oh, that's right. I mean, Joe Nathan was a great contract. Am I saying Miller's going to be like that? No, he's still obviously much younger than some of those options. But don't sell the farm when you're this far out for 1 inning of work.
Right.
Don't do it.
No, I agree with you completely. And then going with Jimenez that you were talking about, that's down there playing. It's, you hear a lot of people say that the show is completely different than anything you've ever played in before. And yeah, he'd be lights out, but do we really want to take another gamble with that? We really don't have the strength at the base to be taking gambles right now. So we definitely need a sure thing. And if you're going to be risking possible players for that, I got to go no. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. The latest roster move, Steven Moya sent down. To me, this is a head scratcher. Steven Moya is a guy hitting over 300 with power. Obviously, his fielding has been very rough in right field. And when you try to hide from a ball, it finds you almost every time. You don't even have to try, and you're going to hit it to the weakest link out there. And that's what's happened to Steven Moya in his short time up with the big club. But his bat has been so good. Instead, they keep Tyler Collins up, a guy who just 2 months ago flipped off the entire crowd and said explicit things to tell them to go somewhere. And now he's back hitting 117. Big deal. He had a home run Friday that tied the game. I don't care. Sure, he's better in the field. He made an error on Sunday throwing, just being dumb. Good thing we're going to keep this guy who disrespects the fans up over a guy who's trying to learn, and he's hitting raking at the dish. Yeah, let's send him down because Upton's back from bereavement. To me, why is Collins even in the organization? I think him and Anthony Gose need to catch this next smart bus to Smartville and get the hell out of town.
Yeah, and I really was a big proponent of Collins when that happened. I mean, it's a shame on you if you think they're here for the fans. That's the last thing they're here for. First thing they're here for is for a paycheck. And you want to pull that stuff and perform and deliver, that's fine with me. I think it's great. It's nice to have some heels in baseball or any sports. They're more fun to watch, especially when they're on your team. But when you're not performing, you're just digging yourself a hole that you're not going to get out of. It's quicksand. So yeah, that whole ordeal really doesn't make sense as far as the switch and sending him down and keeping Collins up here. He's got to perform. Yeah, like you said, he did have that game-tying home run, but we need more than that, especially with the team struggling where they're, like I said earlier, they're right on the fringe, possibly making it to the postseason. But right now, we just need delivery from everyone on the team and at least show some promise. I really feel like we haven't seen promise yet. There's been spurts and stuff like that, but nothing that you can really sit back at and be like, all right, this guy's good to go. Where do we go from here? And we don't have that yet.
Speaking of promise, Nick Castellanos is a guy who is not seeing promise in something a lot of people our age are seeing promise in. Nick Castellanos, 24 years old. Me, 23 years old. You, slightly older. Now there's a game coming back from 20 years ago called Pokemon. Nick Castellanos was asked after the game about Pokemon Go on Friday, and he made a comment that he thinks it's one of the stupidest things he's ever heard of. He said he was out on the boat with his friends, and his friends, instead of driving the boat, have their hands down on their phone, catching Pokemon, and the boat's just going all over town. He says this is just an absolute joke. And Dan, I want to propose the question, because I just want to see you fight for this, because I know I personally couldn't give anything.
Yeah.
What's the big deal with this game, Dan?
Well, I got to answer a question with a question. What is the big deal about Snapchat? What's the big deal about Instagram? What's the big deal about Facebook? It's something that catches on. It's something that, is unique from something else, anything else that's out there. I don't know, I feel like the same people that are saying we're not playing Pokemon are the same people that say, well, I do CrossFit, or, I'm a vegan or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong.
You're offending 93% of our viewers.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Tyler Collins right now. But well, with what I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's
quick. If you do that, let me put this up.
Right, we don't have the money to pay off the fine.
True.
But it's something. Why did Candy Crush take off so much? It just happens, and the difference between this and Candy Crush is the fact that, at least people are outside and they're exercising.
Oh,
and I know you hate that excuse, but what's negative about that? What's so negative about it?
It's not exercise.
All right, it's not exercise, but if you're gonna play a video game, would you rather be inside and play a video game?
Yeah, air conditioned.
Well, that's you, but there's a lot of people out there that need to be outside and exercising.
It's not this is not.
Walking is good for you. If you look that up, we'll do. But you know what? And they're being active in the community. I mean,
yeah,
you've seen that.
They're going to cemeteries when families are grieving over one of their loved ones, and you're over here. Oh, I got a Japanese Charizard right on your sister's corpse. Oh, that's excellent. Why don't you come in and dig her up too while you're at it?
Take a selfie.
Are you kidding me, folks? This is an outrage.
It's not. What is an outrage is what's happening across the country. This should not be on the radar. This is. It's something that could be good. Kids are outside, they're playing. When was the last time you
kids?
Yeah, kids.
Are you a kid?
Adult? Well, yeah, I feel like a kid when they bring back nostalgia like that. But
don't get me wrong, Dan. I like Pokemon. Do I think this game's slightly on the dumb side? Sure. Have I played it? I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Have I in the last week? No. Have I since the day it came out? Absolutely not. Have I deleted the app? Well, no. You get lonely sometimes. But I loved Pokemon when I was a kid. I still have all my cards. I have a Japanese Charizard. I'm willing to take offers. Send me an email.
Nothing below 200.
$2,000. Anyways, it's holographic as well. But all I'm saying is this is blown up too much. People should be worrying about real issues.
Yeah.
Instead of, let's go to the next Pokédex stop shore place and catch some wild Bulbalands. Instead of, they should be focusing on, how could I make the world a better place? How could I could help someone today? Instead of walking around past homeless people playing your game, you could be putting a coin in their cup. We'll be right back.
Swept up in the season of the falling leaves. And if the days grew shorter and the darkness drew its order from the autumn gray, I'd rather sit this out and sleep the day away instead. But weary eyes a bit too slow indeed. I'd rather sit this out and sleep you away instead, to worry about the emptiness that comes.
All right, Dan, we just got back. Dan was trying to get me back onto the pokey side.
Yeah, we're taking down a gym.
I was laughing at him. And low key, I might have been playing. But golf happened, and let me tell you, it was a great duel over the weekend. The third major championship of the year, the Open Championship, formerly known as the British Open. Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson were the last two, final group, and they were head and shoulders above the field. Henrik Stenson ends up winning. He for the tournament shoots 20 under par, and Phil Mickelson's second shot 17 under, and it was neck and neck until about the 16th hole in the final round. They were back and forth, back and forth. To put it into perspective, 20 and 17, third place, 6 under. Second place was 11 strokes better than third place. That is absolutely incredible. It was magnificent golf to watch on Sunday. I was hooked to the TV, and normally, to me, I can watch golf. A lot of people say it's awful. To me, I'm thrilled when it's exciting. And that, to me, was very exciting. People can argue and say it wasn't. When it's neck and neck, guys, Henrik Stenson on 15 made a 51-foot putt from the fringe for birdie, and that was a dagger to me, I think. And then obviously Phil's shot on 17, kind of going off the green, and then Stenson just could not miss a putt. He was dialed in, and he deserved it. It's a shame because you love to root for the lefty, Phil Mickelson, the American guy. But, I mean, Stenson hands down deserved this one today.
Yeah. I really didn't watch it. I do like, with what you're saying though, I do like watching golf. I'd prefer maybe a three-way fight for first. That's always entertaining. But like when you see the divide, not the divide, but the gap between the leaders and then everybody else, that's pretty incredible. And like you said, I love Phil Mickelson. I'm a lefty, so naturally I got to go with the lefty and cheer for him. And to see, I'm really not sure how relevant he's been this season. But it's always good to see an old goat like him show up and give the leader a fight. So yeah, that sounds great. It sounded like it was a great Open, and what, the 145th of it?
It was right at Royal Troon. Hasn't been there since 2003. J.B. Holmes was the third place folk, who had 6 under the par. Rory McIlroy notable, 4 under. Jordan Spieth 2 under. Same with Dustin Johnson. But I'm sorry, no, Spieth was much worse than that. I don't know, just was on the brain. just got Spieth on the brain,
Yeah.
He's a great golfer. Why wouldn't you? He's one of those who have said he will not be participating in Rio. We've talked briefly last week. He, Jason Day, Dustin Johnson, all have said they will not be participating in Rio, the Olympic Games. These are the first Olympic Games that golf will be an Olympic sport. Ricky Fowler, Matt Kuchar, Patrick Reed are, among others, representing the United States and other countries. Obviously, Martin Kaymer will be there as well. And Henrik Stenson will be representing Team Sweden. U.S., I think, has a real good chance because the spread around of power from the European nations, they're not all from one nation, like the Ryder Cup. They can kind of get a world team-ish together. So the U.S. looks strong. I mean, obviously missing Spieth and DJ is huge, but I think Ricky Fowler, Matt Kuchar, Patrick Reed, those guys are really going to do good for the team. Bubba Watson also on Team USA to hit the ball quite a bit, but it's going to be fun. I'll still be tuning into Rio, even though I think we mentioned that they should pick a little bit more mainstream countries or cities to host these games. I'm going to be dialed in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'd be great to see golf on an Olympic stage like that. As respected as it is. Well, not so much now, but back then. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they cover it too. I agree with you 100%. If they want, I think it's one of the, not the best location you can have it, considering, I don't know if you saw the special they had earlier this week about just all the negativity and just all the problems that can go on over there, and it doesn't sound good. So I really can't blame those guys for not wanting to go. But you gotta admit though there's got to be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of negativity there for someone not to want to represent their country at the Olympics. It's such an honor, and that blows me away. But like I said, I don't blame them. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's going to go off without a hitch, and I might not want to be part of that either. But yeah, it will be entertaining to watch. We'll see how they take care of it. But it's cool that golf's actually in the Olympics. Take your time. Yeah. It's a terrific
don't
sport.
Rush.
It's so
it really is.
Mainstream worldwide.
So mental and so much skill is required. You can go out to the course and see it on TV. I do this every time I watch a tournament. I go out the next Monday and be like, oh man, they made it look so easy. And I go out and I'm just shanking the ball all over town. It's a tough game, and it's pretty much 98% mental.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get mad at yourself after hitting a bad shot, it's a snowball effect and just keeps happening. Dan, I know you have some more very exciting news to bring us. UFC related, is that so?
Yes. Yeah, it's just a little snippet. As you know, Brock Lesnar may or may not know. Nick.
Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, Brock.
Brock.
Okay,
Did I say Brock?
No, I was just wondering, our great nation's leader, Brock. Sorry. Anyways.
Brock Lesnar took down the challenger Mark Hunt at UFC 200. What's coming out now is the fact that he possibly may have been using some PEDs. Which
No.
You look at Brock Lesnar, you hear everyone say he's been training since he's a kid. You look at his younger pictures when he was in high school. The kid was a beast back then. But how do you maintain form like that without cheating a little bit? So Mark Hunt is demanding half of the purse that was won at UFC 200, and he said if that's not the case, if I don't get that, even though I took a pounding, he's going to take off for the UFC and go somewhere else. So that's pretty interesting. We'll see
you
how
later,
they.
Mark Hunt, guy I've never heard of before.
Right. Yeah.
See you later. Where UFC is really going to miss you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know the person's name. They took a knee to the cranium, and their head is dented, fractured skull.
Yeah.
There's a picture of it online. Just type in UFC fractured skull because that's all the information I have on it. But it's something you need to check out. Not suitable for work. Dan, we got to get back to work.
Yes, we
to
do.
bring you great information for next edition of the Wrap Up. It'll be the 66th, the Mario Lemieux edition of the Wrap Up. Nick Buckler, Dan Myers with you as always for one final moment tonight. Enjoy. Be good.